In this video, we're going to cover how to buy your first rental property with little money down so you can invest in real estate and start making money today. Hey everybody, what is up? Ryan Foster here. In this channel, we talk about personal finance, investing, real estate, and much more. So drop a like and also subscribe if you haven't already and join me on your journey to financial freedom. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. So to do this with little money down, I'm going to kind of explain how to do this. So I am a licensed real estate agent in Michigan, so I've done deals like this before where they have low cost out of pockets to buy their first house. And a lot of things you're going to be faced with are things like your earnest money deposit, or also known as EMD, and then also you're going to have closing costs, lender fees, appraisals, inspections, title work, insurance, proration of taxes for most areas, and a bunch of other fees. So ideally, you're going to think this is going to be really expensive. However, there are ways where it can be not that expensive and you can do it with little money out of pocket. So for those of you who don't have a ton of money saved up, but you're looking to invest in real estate and you want to even find out if it's possible to do so, I'm here to tell you it is possible. The first thing you must do is look at house hacking. House hacking basically is when you buy your first property, which is also a multi-family home, meaning 1 to 4 units. So basically, if you're going to buy a duplex, you buy the duplex, live in one half, and then rent the other half out, so that way it'll cover the cost of your mortgage and hopefully a little bit more if you work things out properly. Now, one of the good things about living in a multi-unit home that you're currently renting out to the tenants is you're there to keep an eye on it. I mean, the people are your neighbors, so if they're out smashing the place up, you're going to be aware of it because they're right next door to you, right? That's another one of the key benefits to a multi-unit home. This only works for a 1 to 4 unit property, which a 1 unit basically is a single family home. So for house hacking, you need at least a duplex, triplex, or quadplex, because it's still classified as kind of residential that way. And anything more than 4 units, usually you might have to have a commercial loan or something different, a business loan possibly. It wouldn't necessarily be a residential conventional mortgage, and your down payment options might be higher. So it would have to be a 1 to 4 unit property. Now, the benefits to house hacking are, since it's going to be classified as your primary residence, which means basically you are occupying and living in that property, you're still able to qualify for those low down payment loans. So how can you do it out of pocket for very little? The main thing here is, number one is these low down payment loans for a lot of first-time home buyers and other buyers as well. The main thing is they have, some lenders are doing conventional loans with 3% down, FHAs are 3.5% down. So one of the cool things about an FHA loan is you're able to ask for something called concessions. And what that is when the seller contributes funds back to you at closing to help cover some of these closing costs. And with things like an FHA loan, you're able to contribute up to 6%. So let's just do the math on a duplex of $100,000. Your down payment would be $3,500, okay? Which on an FHA loan, sellers cannot contribute funds to your down payment to you. So you have to have that $3,500 saved up. Ideally, you want to see, so let's say your closing costs are another $4,000. Your appraisal is going to be around $500, give or take. You might have an inspection around $500. You might have an earnest money deposit of $1,000. So all these costs add up. However, with seller's concessions, you can ask for 6% of that, which is $6,000, which should more than cover all of these costs. Another great thing here is a lot of lenders have programs for first-time home buyers. We have one here in Michigan where you can get up to $5,000 for down payment assistance as long as they're willing to live there for 5 years. After they live there for 5 years, that grant is forgiven and they don't have to pay it back. So it's a free $5,000 in some areas that you just get for buying your first house. Now that's only in some areas, obviously, but what I would recommend doing is talking to your local lender or mortgage broker and seeing what kind of options they do have for you in your situation, because a lot of times there are grants out there to help people with down payments because they do want people to buy their first home. So with the costs on $100,000, you could potentially be out of pocket for around $3,500 because the $6,000 in concessions would be able to ideally cover everything out of pocket. So with those closing costs of $6,000, you should be able to cover all the other expenses. So mainly you would only have to come up with your down payment along with that earnest money deposit. But that money would be sitting there in an escrow account that you'd receive back at closing, or it would end up going towards your down payment. So that initial, when you first write that offer and it gets accepted and you have to put down maybe $1,000 or whatever earnest money you decided to agree upon in that purchase agreement, that then would be contributed back to you in some way or the other, whether that's back to you at the closing table or whether it goes to other expenses like down payment, etc. So mainly out of pocket on this hypothetical $100,000 duplex that you're buying, you would essentially only need $3,500 in total to come up with it. Now, I'm not recommending that if that's all you have to your name, go out and buy a duplex. Ideally, you want to save up a little bit more if possible, so that way you're not, as soon as you get to closing, you're immediately broke. You don't want that. So I ideally want to save up a little bit more, but it is possible to buy your first rental property with limited funds. This is all under $5,000, which I know can be kind of challenging to save up that initially, but you can do it. I actually do have some videos on how to save $10,000 in a year. I will add a card up here so that way you guys can check that video out as well if you do need help with being able to save money. One of the best parts about the market we're in right now is the interest rates are extremely low. So this means you're not going to be paying a ton of money out towards interest, and it can really benefit you because your monthly payments are going to be even cheaper than they were before, because all of the money is not being wasted on interest. So this ultimately will save you money in the long run by not paying a ton in interest over the lifetime of the loan and on your monthly payment, obviously. So one of the key benefits here are you're still able to charge rent, and you might even be able to see a profit every single month, so that way you can live for free on your investment. So let's say your payment on this hypothetical $100,000 house is around $750 a month with the low interest rates. So then you could turn around and possibly rent that property out for $850 a month or more, depending on your area. So that way you're not only your mortgage is being paid for, but you're still profiting $100 a month in profit. So that way you're getting free equity, which means you're paying down the principal loan balance month over month, and you are still cash flowing $100 a month. So then after a few years, you then can purchase another property and then rent that one out, and ideally the profits from that will help contribute to the next property you purchase as well. So basically the first step here is to talk to a lender to see what kind of programs they do have for a first-time home buyer, and also ask them about the grants that they may have for first-time home buyer programs, and see what kind of low interest and low down payment options they have. Some do even offer zero down payment loan options, but each lender is going to be a little bit different, and they might have certain areas and stricter guidelines and things of that nature. So you definitely want to talk to them about that to kind of see what your options are there. And also work on building your credit, so that way when the time does come and you do find a good duplex or triplex or quadplex, you're able to make this happen. Let me know in the comments if you yourself have used this, or if not, what type of property would you end up getting? Duplex, triplex, or quadplex? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'm Ryan Foster. Drop a like if you do find this video helpful. Also subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Love you guys.